Invictus Gaming. And for Order, if they are to somehow make the top 4 in any way, shape or form, guys, this is also must win. They are currently in 8th position on 5 points.
Specker, guys, I'm really excited. I hope you all enjoy the match as much as I will. Sure we will, Specker. Thank you very much for those kind words. Good luck, most importantly, have fun, says Hysteric. So a lot of love in the chat. Definitely a hallmark of APAC. Lots of love between all of the teams. Thatcher taken off the board first here from Invictus. That's pretty boring. That's pretty standard. That's what we come to expect here on Clubhouse. And honestly, Clubhouse, we don't see a whole lot of Spanish thrown into the works at the moment. Very, I don't know if stale is the best way to describe it, but that's probably the word that comes to mind. The current meta on this map, everything is very well thought out, very calculated. Pairing that with the Maverick, welcome to 2021, that's what we expect.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't find it stale. I quite enjoy Clubhouse. So if you want to leave, guys, I mean, you can. I'm happy to just solo cast it from here. You can just, you know, up and leave. But I think that for these two teams, one thing I am going to say is that, as Raven pointed out on the desk, maybe Clubhouse, not quite the best place here for Order, but it's always difficult to predict for them, considering their inconsistencies, right? Like, when they do eventually become consistent, I feel like you'll start to get a bit more of an understanding as to what maps they are actually able to perform well on. But yeah, Clubhouse is going to be tricky. Last time they played it was apparently against Wildcard. And that was in the APAC South League, and that was on the 24th of June, so it wasn't too long ago. As we are going to see the Wamai and the Mute taken off the board. That's the ban phase done. And guys, if you do want to come back.
I'm back.
Oh, nice.
Fortunately. No, fortunately. I'm keen for this matchup. I feel like I'm being a bit of a doubter here. I'm still thinking about what Maddox said before.
Big game, man. Like, you should yourself just 5 deep breaths, and let's get into this, because this is a big game, and I need your full attention for it. Invictus must win. If they don't win this game, and quite frankly, you know, getting 2 points in OT might not be enough either. That puts them in some pretty difficult territory. But getting all 3 points brings them to a keeps themselves slightly in the race for first.
Alright, well, I like this from Invictus, injecting a little bit of spice into round number 1. They're going to defend Gym and Bedroom. Now, this site necessarily isn't that unexpected. It is part of the primary 3 sites. In fact, the only 3 sites we see played here on Clubhouse. But to see it first is always very nice and refreshing, if you would. We're also seeing Luna bring the Frost into the fray. Very potent operator on this particular objective. Outside of that, we're also seeing Speakeasy playing the Maestro, an operator that hasn't been getting love recently. So I'm liking what I'm seeing here from Invictus so far, and Order will need to be ready from the very start.
Yeah, they definitely need to be switched on for this game. If Order are to win, they're going to need to be their best selves, right? They can't come into this one and play haphazardly. They can't come into it as that inconsistent Order that we've almost come to expect. Night in, night out. They need to be at their best. Their very best if they're going to beat Invictus Gaming, because, you know, for IG, they've had a pretty decent season. Some ups and downs, like pretty much every team in APAC South. But obviously, if they can win this game, they go to, you know, 3 wins on the season, 6 play days gone through, so that would put them at 3-3. But for Invictus, yeah, it's must win. For Order, they can get to 8 points. From there, they can maybe then win the final play day against Knights, which would, of course, crush their season or stage.
Hello.
We're back, unfortunately for us. Unfortunately for you guys, you got to see us here, as we did have the wrong server there for that game. So a quick little switcheroo that we can get back into it. Luckily, nothing had really taken place there except for the site location of Gym Bedroom. But you know, trying to set the stakes here, guys. It's must win for both teams, because if Order lose this, suddenly there's not much to fight for going into Playdate 7. If they can win it, there's actually quite a bit to fight for, because if they can get back-to-back victories to close out the season, suddenly they can maybe find themselves in 4th, which is a playoff position.
Yeah, and it has been a rough start to the season for Order. It feels like we keep restating that it hasn't been the best of times for them. They're still going through that transition period with their roster changes, and while sometimes they look great, they look scary, they look like they're on point, there's been more than a few occasions where they haven't looked as sharp. And we're going to have to see which Order rocks up today. In fact, we were having a chat with Specker the other day, and he has mentioned that, you know, this competition is so incredibly close that it really doesn't come down to teams being necessarily head and shoulders above the rest. It comes down to who shows up on the day, who's in the right mind space, who's done the right preparation. And unfortunately for Order, it has been falling apart a little bit, but they still do have that lifeline. And that, again, just shows how close this league is. The fact that you can be dead last in the second last play day and still with a couple of wins make it to the playoffs is pretty insane. Not too many other regions will have that sort of storyline going for them, and I can't help but feel that probably does spur Order on a little bit. It would be very easy to be demotivated if you're in last place and you can't make that miracle run, but they're in that position and they don't really have anything to lose at this point.
Well, and to put that into further context, we already saw earlier this evening with the Chiefs from second last, I think it was. At that time, maybe it was third last. I can't remember all the way back to the earlier night. Come on, but they're in fourth now, guys. That's the main thing, right? They were able to sort of leapfrog their way into that playoff position, give themselves a bit of a lifeline going into play day 7, where they will eventually play 7th Heaven. So, Order basically need to do the same thing here. Now, mind you, Invictus is a team that I think is a little bit stronger than, say, where Wildcard's at right now. So this is a tougher task for Order. And Order as a team as well, you never know what you're going to get with them. Right now, they've also got the lowest round differential in the entire, 8 teams. So there's honestly so much more going against Order than for them that makes it difficult to predict them. And yet, nonetheless, there was 2 that actually predicted Order, you being one of them. Are you just feeling as if it's that night where they just decide to turn it up to 11?
I don't know. Honestly, I don't even know. I can't remember why I picked them. It was a bit of a coin flip, as this league can be. I thought I'd go for a cheeky pick against you because I'm chasing you. Look, if I had to be biased here and pick which team winning is probably better for the storyline of the entire league, it probably is Invictus because it sets up for that really, really close battle for first place and the auto-qual to the major. But that also is discounting the Order storyline. They're still fighting to make the playoffs and be a chance as well to still qualify for the major through the playoffs. So both are really exciting. I do think if Order show up, they can put up a good fight. They have, again, so many great players. They have a bit of experience against this roster as well. So you just don't know. And unfortunately, we don't have anything to go off because we haven't had any rounds played out yet, but such is...
I don't know, man. The way he was walking out of sight really sets the tone. So much to take away from that.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, Specker with his chest out of spawn would be very, very scary to watch if you're Invictus. But, can't really make too many assumptions just yet.
Well, what we can go off, of course, is sort of previous results and the way that both teams are tracking. We can go back to sort of play day 5 and have a look at that. And of course, if you're an IG fan, not ideal because they really did get served by 7th Heaven. That was a 7-2 loss last week, which was unexpected. And then QC also sort of doing the same to Order. So that kind of sets the tone here. Both teams are coming off very heavy losses. One probably more expected than the other, being QC beating Order. But regardless, the results are there in the same. As we can finally get into this final match of the day, which is honestly... This makes no sense at all, guys, but it's gone pretty quick. And also, we've had a couple of rehosts, so it makes it feel like it's taken a little while. But the matches 7-4, 7-1, 7-4, the matches themselves have gone by pretty quick today.
Yeah, no overtimes just yet, but who knows what this match has in store for us. Observing a close matchup, considering how critical this matchup is. Now, neither of these teams would want it to go that distance. Both desperately are looking for the full 3 points. Every single point in APAC South matters at the moment, especially as we get very close to the end of the regular season for Stage 2. This is the final match of the second last play day. Feels like this stage has flown past really, really quickly. And both of these teams are scrambling for a really important result.
You know what, guys? I'm thinking, let's skip the gameplay and let's just bring it back to us. Should we do that? To do what they did in APAC North, plus 20 round differential. I mean, technically 6-0. I mean, they've got obviously one more game. I think that they should be able to beat Guts, but it is at this level of Siege, it's very difficult to do, Michael. Very, very difficult to do. And they've been able to go and do it. You're Michael. It's something
Don't call me that, dude. It makes me feel uncomfortable.
It's something that I thought maybe at some point Q Confirm could have gone undone, and then they got smacked by IG, and then they've been smacked by Elevate.
Wait. We're gonna have another rehost.
Why? Surely not.
Like Luna didn't 6-pick onto Frost! Luna!
Oh, no way.
Oh my god!
No! No! Too bad! Just play it, please! Just play it! Like actual rehost?
I cursed us before the broadcast.
No, maybe you're wrong. Maybe you're wrong.
No, I'm definitely not wrong. He 100% 6-picked onto the Frost both rounds.
Okay. Oh, no.
Told ya. Oh, sheesh.
There's no way. Is that, how many is that now? That's 3.
Yeah, sorry.
So much for 3rd time's the charm. I guess it's going to be 4th time's the charm. Look, apologies to everyone, of course, who's still sticking around and watching. Not much that we can really do about this. I mean, it is what it is. Mistakes happen. 6 picks don't happen.
Yeah. I'm trying to find my Zen mode right now. I still want to know who didn't pick the operator right line the last time to find us in this position. I'm still not sure who the culprit was on that occasion, but it was definitely Luna there. I don't forget Frost. I love Frost. And to not see her back in the server was very disappointing. So again, yeah, we have to rehost. For those of you who don't know the rules, if the rehost is called before the time you're allowed to, but Jack Daddy was the last one I've been told, so stuff you, Jack Dad, as well. You have to go back to the same site, pick the same operator, same 6 picks, etc. And unfortunately, the last 2 occasions, players have made the mistake of not doing so. Now that happens. So be it. But it means we have to have another rehost, which means we have to sit here and discuss something important. And Zedox is laughing at something, so take it away.
Someone in chat, at this point, I've just resorted to looking at chat, seeing how they're going. Guys, hello. Hello, chat.
Hey, chat. We're 3 minutes ahead of you, but
yeah, we're in the future here, or in the past. I don't even know anymore. Someone said this is more of a podcast than a playdate. I loved it.
That's true. I mean, at least they're still watching. And the good thing as well, I always say this when we have a couple of rehosts, you have to look at it a glass half full. You have more of an opportunity now to earn your packs. I mean, how good is that? We are just so generous here in APAC South. We extend the broadcast length. That means you can get more packs. I can catch up on my packs.
I'm up to 96% as well, guys.
I don't even know what I'm on. I haven't checked. I'm probably at 100 now. But,
this has just turned into a pack stream. So.
Oh, no. I'm actually at 59%. Yeah, I've really been slacking.
Hey, come on. Get with it. Look, it's been a lot of fun having a bit of yarn, and obviously podcast. It's been. We want to see the game just as much as you guys. We're very much anticipating, what is a big game. I think we've obviously sort of built it as that for a little while now, about 20 minutes.
The tension is building, man. I don't know. I'm getting goosebumps.
This better be a good bloody game. That's all I'm going to say. I'm expecting Invictus in order to put on a good show here for us, and I feel like maybe now we're just going to get some weird 7-1, all that waiting for nothing.
If this is a 7-1, I'm done. I'm throwing the towel in. I don't think
if it gets to 6-1, we just won't cast the last round.
I'm down. Yeah, I'll walk off. I mean,
yeah, just walk away.
Once this match is done, we don't need to talk afterwards. We'll leave that to the desk. So I mean, fine by me.
It's in this moment that I wish we could just somehow throw back to the desk at a random moment and just catch them eating their Singapore noodles.
Is that what Des having for dinner?
I think it is. He mentioned noodles. I'm just guessing there. I don't know. I haven't had dinner yet because obviously we've been on the broadcast. Oh, we're back. Is there a Frost? Oh, we're going to wait for the 6 pick.
Luna.
All right. 6. There's the pick. There's the Frost.
Woo!
And we're on the right site, and we're on the right server, and everyone's on the right operators. We can go. We can do it. We can press that big red button and get into the game. Order versus Invictus Gaming. Long have we been waiting. And now the game has been activated. Let's go.
Shoutouts as well to Mandy on our observer tool, because speaking from experience, rehosting a game of Siege is actually quite stressful now. It is only the first round, so you don't have to input all the round history, but you have to make sure the server's right. You have to do the bans. There's a lot going on. So big shoutouts to Mandy. Fantastic work on the obs, as always. So big shout out. Thank you very much. Love your work. And we love that we're back into this server, and hopefully this isn't a 7-1.
Yeah, I'm hoping it is going to be a good game. I truthfully wish that it is going to be a good one. Not for our sake, but also just for the sake of these two teams, I think, respectively, for their seasons. They both kind of deserve it. Order as a team, You know, you look at them, they're at the bottom, yeah, 5 points, but they've had, you know, a regulation win, an overtime win, and 3 losses. They're not that far away. In fact, it's pretty similar to Invictus. The only difference is that Invictus has had 2 regulation wins. That's the big difference maker, right? They've still had 3 losses, just also 2 of those in overtime. So there's the little differences, I guess, between 2 teams that have technically gone 2 and 3 guys, but courtesy of the OT rule, are 3 points apart.
Very astute observation from you, Jake. Love to see it. Love your insight, mate. Always a pleasure to work alongside you. And in terms of working alongside one another, Order looking to get something going over towards CCTV. Now, Invictus are not hard-holding Cash. Instead, they're getting a little cheeky towards Cash. They have a deployable shield facing that Cash location. They've also reinforced off Cash in construction. So this is a pretty spicy setup. Now, I can't help but feel we've seen this before from Invictus. It does look very familiar. May not have been them, but someone in APAC South has done it before. I'll have to wait and see whether or not it's effective on this occasion. Now, that's a great impact trick there from Speak Easy, denying those ex-Kairos from Jack Daddy. Luna as well, supporting from Logistics. And this is a pretty tough hold at the moment to try and bypass. This is going to waste a lot of time.
Minute 20 to go in the round. Hysterics on that roam. Will be a big factor later in the round. We didn't see a whole lot of aggressive roaming in our last game. That was, of course, over on Oregon between Elevate and QC. Definitely more of an on-site sort of feel between those two. Speakeasy's low. Minute left on the clock. Nate now makes his way over towards this jacuzzi wall, and we'll look to get it open.
Flashbang through the drone hole. Trying to see if there's an ADS device placed on that wall, assuming that Order will try and open up the jacuzzi wall, clearing off Electro Claw that has been pre-placed there by Joe. Now, Specker takes control of Logistics, wins against Jordan despite being swung on. That's a huge pick. Nate gets in on the action as well. Now, Specker, of course, is low, but Speak Easy under the pump is taken down, leaving Joe in hysterics.
Yeah, big advantage now for Order. Joe, though, can't be counted out, but he does lose his tag team partner in Speak Easy. He's a pretty good player. 3 versus 1 now, 20 seconds left to withstand against Jack Daddy, Bailey, and Nico. Watches that player over towards that condor. One still out on the balcony as well. One inside of Logistics, playing this really well over towards 90. Default Camp's still up, of course, as well. Jack Dad's going to go for that diffuser. Oh, he gets spotted. Joe's played this perfectly. Oh! He's got a quad, and he's got time. Bailey has to stick it. He's been pinged. That is going to be a round win for Invictus. Joe, stand up and take the applause. Woo!
There's the applause. My word, though. Really well played there from Joe. I gotta say, that's a little bit of BM there from Bailey to fall off the plant and deny the ace. But hey, the wait from the rehost was worth it. What a fantastic player there from Joe. I mean, I am going to openly and fully admit that I was looking down at some stats on my second monitor when that happened, thinking that round was completely over. So I legitimately have no idea how Joe managed to bring that back. I just looked up, you're screaming, you're yelling, it's a 1v1, and I was like, wow, okay, that's pretty damn impressive. And Invictus, look, they might be very happy with how most of that round went, but Joe, the newest inclusion, coming in for Yazira, really showing his worth.
Yeah, big little comeback there. Well played, good positioning. Order, you know, they had that 3 versus 1 and just squandered it. I mean, full credit to Joe, though. And honestly, it says 4-0, but technically it would have been 5-0 had Bailey, of course, not decided to just get off it, which at that point, I mean... We'll
count it as an ace. I mean,
yeah, he denies the ace, and he also technically doesn't die in the round as well. So, look, Invictus win the round. That's really all that matters, guys, when arguably they probably shouldn't have from the position that Order once had. And look, if there's anything to tilt you as a team, that's it right there. That's a tilter in the opening round after sitting around waiting for 20 minutes to get into that round and to lose it like that in that manner. It's going to take some big mental fortitude from Order to rebound from that round.
Well, the beauty of Siege is the games are quite lengthy, giving plenty of opportunity for teams to bounce back. And now Order get to show us what they're made of down below. I think the worrying thing for Order is the fact that Invictus were able to win Gym Bedroom first. That does, I guess, fluff around with their rotation a little bit. Okay, can we have a look back at Nico? Is he still on that angle? Because that was pretty crazy. Look at this, all the way from gym down to the main stairs. Now, it's not uncommon to have an angle from above looking down below towards those main stairs, but that one is a little bit of an off angle. That is probably near impossible to counter if you are Invictus trying to make your way back up the stairs. So that is one I am definitely going to steal from our ranked sessions.
Attackers recovered the bomb diffuser.
Not a whole lot here from Invictus in terms of pushing out and being aggressive, just allowing Order to do as they please above. Side kitchen and bar and basically do whatever they want. Specker now dropping down into oil. Minute and a half remaining. Joe inside of blue. We'll get a bit of that information, but it is going to be a full defensive turtle mode here from Invictus.
But just creep closer and closer towards the site. They'll find a pick, but no, it's Speak easy to get the first there. Nico taken down. Fortunately for Order, they do still have the sledge as backup for the soft breach, but I believe Specker was over towards Oil Pit. There we go. He finds the pick towards Joe. He can link up with Bailey and try and get something going.
4 versus 3. Order have been in this position not too long ago. They had a 5 versus 2 round previously in round 1. Now it's a 4 versus 2. But Joe, of course, not alive to make things happen. And neither is Speak Easy or Jordan. They're taken off the board. And Order close out round 2 the way they probably should have closed out round 1.
A good response there from Order. Strong signs in the latter stages of that round. And it was pretty simple, pretty straightforward. I did like the double push over towards blue once they found that pick behind Generator. Wow, Invictus falling apart there, unable to really recuperate from that loss. Very, very tough position that they found themselves in. And that is a bit of a red flag here for Invictus. It is just one round, so we don't want to jump to conclusions. But you would anticipate that basement defenses with Kaid available and both Thatcher and Maverick banned will be quite strong across the board.
Defenders, protect your bombs from being defused by attackers.
Yeah, and it's difficult, of course, to ascertain as to how everything's going to play out until we at least get to that second half. Sometimes we get a little bit too happy with how things are happening in the first half and maybe make some very big judgment calls, guys, and then, of course, everything sort of swaps at the half break and we go, oh, okay, well, I guess this is just playing out how the first half did, but now for the other team, and we look a little bit silly. So, obviously, only 2 rounds in, but what I will say in these first 2 rounds, despite the 1-1 scoreline, some really big and important plays from Order. And besides that, Joe ace, it should technically be a 2-0 Order start here on their attack on Clubhouse on a map that they don't really have the best record on in recent times.
No, they don't, but now could be the opportunity to turn the tide. Again, Order in this round are going to bring double soft breach, Nico on the Bucks, Specker on the Sledge. Now you would anticipate at least one of these to be brought, but the fact that they're bringing 2, it's pretty... don't mind it. Up some different avenues here for the attack. They also bring double hard breach in Jack Daddy and Nate, so a heavy emphasis on trying to deconstruct the map here, remodel it the best that they can. Try and squeeze out Invictus and apply pressure. Now Luna's under the pump. I don't know if that was Nico dealing that damage there. It would have been, for sure. Luna lit up, forced back. That's a decent little bit of pressure applied here from Order, and Bailey gets a very decent kill on the board as well. That was Luna cut off. Bailey dropping logistics and finding him, I presume, in construction.
Yeah, and yet another opening pick for Order as well. They've been pretty good at that in the first 3 rounds. Luna 0 and 3. Bit of a struggle streak. Although, in fairness, his entire team besides Joe is not off to the best start. And I'm kind of getting QC flashback vibes here, and Joe's playing the role of producer boom, and the other 4 are, well, Joe's playing as the other 4, the QC. Specker off to a great start right now as well, 4-on-1, a player that's been well, probably the enigma of this team, guys, quite inconsistent.
Yeah, Specker. Fight the character.
A better host than Manic as well on the reload.
Yeah, look, we don't want Order winning too many games. If Specker gets too much airtime, then we'll probably lose our job and get replaced by someone who has a lot more charisma and probably a lot more game knowledge as well.
And a better mustache.
Yep. Facial hair game strong on Specker. Oh, pause that thought for a second as Jordan gets lit up, trying to hold the bottom of red stairs. Now Nico is pressuring down below as well. That skeleton key can inflict a lot of damage from down below, and no one from the defense will feel comfortable inside of Ash. As you can see, Hysterics force back, Speak easy as well, relying on the main wall staying up. But this is really being held onto by a thread here from Invictus. It looks like they're comfortable at the moment, but only a couple of open walls here from Order should be enough to dislodge this defense.
And Bailey down, and there's only 20 seconds left of the round. Joe also down to Jaeger taken off the ball by Nate. Technically, it's a 3 versus 3, though. Don't be fooled by the 4 versus 3. Nate still making his way up over the rafters. Hysterics will get an easy kill. Speak Easy, too, found that kill onto Nate as he was running around through Garage, and that's going to be the round as well. Well defended by Invictus Gaming. That was probably their best round of the match so far.
Yeah, I thought that Invictus had their backs against the wall a little bit more in that round, but unfortunately, Order, their ability to remodel some of those hard breach walls, probably not quite on point, and Invictus able to sit in pretty comfortable positions that otherwise wouldn't have been had the main wall been under more pressure, or the casual into con, for example. So, Order falling short in that regard, and their double soft breach really making up for that difference. So an unfortunate round for them there, but like we saw in the past, Order can bounce back. Basement, though, easiest objective to do so. You would still imagine that this basement defense with these bans on the board is going to be pretty rock solid. We just need Invictus to, I guess, hold off against that double blue we saw last time, prevent the main stairs push as well, and that pinch would not be as potent if we ever hold that back.
So a 2-1 start now for Invictus inside of the first 3 rounds that have played out. Order have looked the goods though, guys, which is good signs for the Oceanic team, because I think when Order typically have those games that they really falter and that they don't really put up much of a shot, they don't really look good at all at any point. But the matter of the fact is, inside the first 3 rounds, they've actually been very competitive. I mean, that last round prior, the 3rd round, obviously the worst of the 3. First 2 rounds were great and probably deserved a 2-0 start, but in fairness, it was their downfall, of course, that technically in that opening round they weren't able to capitalize, and they capitulated when it mattered most. So all the plaudits go to Invictus. They got a good start here. It is, of course, defense though on Clubhouse. And for Order, it's just all about stealing a couple of rounds, guys. They've done that with 1 round. If they can steal 1 more, I think that they can be fine, even with a 2-4 attacking half.
And that's really the tale of this matchup from a whole. Not only are they trying to steal a couple of rounds, but ultimately they're looking to quote-unquote steal points from Invictus, who are higher in the standings and are still vying for top spot here in APAC South for Stage 2. And I mean, what a comeback that would be for Invictus. Stage 1, unfortunately for them, quite devastating. Now, they did, of course, make the roster change of Yazira out and Joe in. And that has immediately shown positive results, but still a long way to go for this roster to reach their former glory. You think back to APAC North of last year, where they looked really strong. You also think about Invictus previously in the old program, back in Pro League, where they also showed some good results. I mean, you think of Aerowolf 10 finals, for example. This roster has been around some of these players for a very, very long time, and are very good at Siege, and we're hoping that they can try and reach those heights.
That's denied.
Once again.
Located by attackers.
What was that?
I was saying the first set of X-Kairos there denied, but the nade, that's going to be another one as well. Obviously, Jack Dad's only doing this in bunches of 2, so it's not too bad, but and we'll eventually get this hatch open. But it does delay time more than anything, and obviously that's never a good thing, and time management is so important. And so the longer that hatch stays closed, and more X-Kairos that Jack Dad's got to use, and the more time that gets wasted, is really just little wins for Invictus along the way.
And yeah, that's the thing. I've been harping on about these bans being quite tricky here for the attack. You do have some relief from that Hibana being available. Very, very strong. This
Oh,
basement position, especially after her rework, as Bailey finds the first in blue. This is the weakness that Order exploited last time. And again, Invictus have faltered over towards blue, control obtained by Order.
Oh, beautiful headshot from Bailey. Speak easy, didn't know what hit him. And you're right, it's this blue control that Order are just able to establish and find these picks from. The player in dirt eventually went down really easy and didn't have much of an impact. Luna now inside a church does get the elimination onto Bailey. And Hysterics has got Diffuser down now in front of him. Still 3 versus 1 though, with Jack Dad getting Hysterics. Luna inside a church. Red time. Can he have a Joe moment?
Luna could have sent out a Nitro, but no. There we go. Shut down by Specker. It's a good, solid round end there for Order. Again, they exploit that blue hold. No presence really there from Invictus. Good pressure applied there from the attack, and that's where they really mounted it from. Of course, they did have to send the Diffuser down the kitchen hatch. That was a little bit sketchy, especially with Hysterics roaming around. But once he was dealt with, Luna was stuck behind the bar in church. So again, a solid attack from Order.
And an Invictus Gaming timeout, Gus. This early on into the piece, we've only played 4 rounds. That's a pretty significant tactical timeout to take. There could be moments later in this game where you would want to have that tac timeout to be used. And unfortunately, that's now going to be gone if that situation does arise later on because they're using it early on. Now, I don't know if it's just simply based on that round or maybe the way things are going over the first 4 rounds, because if we sort of cast our minds back, rounds 1, round 2, not the best. Despite Invictus pulling it out thanks to Joe's ace, then round 3 was great, and now round 4 you lose it out pretty convincingly to Order. So that's 3 out of the first 4 rounds that have been very Order-sided, but at least the scoreline's only 2-2.
Yeah, of course, I'm not Gig, I'm not Luna. I don't know exactly what's being said in this tactical timeout or the exact reason why it was called, but if I had to speculate, this would be a sign to me that they're placing a lot of emphasis on this defensive half. Their goal is to get the 4-2 on the board here, and they know that it could potentially be pretty tricky to attack. They'll probably be disappointed with how, honestly, probably quite a few of these rounds have played out, right? You had one of those off the back of the Joe clutch. Now, the other round win was a little bit missing, but you also argue on that occasion that Order did a pretty poor job in opening up some of the hard breach walls. So it hasn't been the best of starts here for Invictus, and they know, again, that this match is critically important. So I like the fact that they've taken this early tactical timeout. We have seen across the board in APAC South that teams honestly probably underutilize tactical timeouts and don't use them at all. So I like the fact that they're taking a little bit of a more proactive approach here instead of being reactive later into the match. Now, as you said, that could come back to bite them. Maybe they'll find themselves in a position where it would have been a little bit more useful, but that's with hindsight. They don't know exactly what the future has in store, and as I said, I think it's good to see that they're willing and able to take it now.
Yeah, and I do agree with you. Usually I'm the one that's advocating for that sort of, proactive use of a tactical timeout. Too many times I see teams, get towards very late round positions, like maybe, say, a 6-5 sort of position or late OT, or there's been a bit of a comeback, and they just don't use it at all, and it just goes unused, and you're just sort of like, why? Or they use it too early on, and then it's not there for those crunch moments. So it's always difficult, and yeah, hindsight's obviously going to play a factor. As we go into this 5th round, what feels like has been a very, very long match, and yet has only really been going for about 15 minutes.
Now that's interesting there from Hysterics playing inside of dirt, so we'll have to wait to see what Specker, meanwhile, applying pressure over towards top red. Jordan under the pump forced back, but as we saw previously, Invictus fortifying their position in towards construction, deployable shield facing that doorway. A couple of ADS devices. Jordan, support. Elsewhere, Nico applying pressure from down below with the skeleton key, but no one from Cash, or no one is inside of Cash, rather, inside of the defense, giving that free real estate over towards Order, at least in the meantime.
Well, it all just starts to kick off. Unfortunately for Order, it's not quite going their way. Nate's going to be taken out as well. Shots just ringing out. And this is the Invictus that we know. when they get on the front foot, even on the defense, where they start to get a bit more aggressive and they feel themselves and get those shots.
Oh my god, the default's up.
Yeah, that is comical, Gus.
Oh, order.
Absolutely comical.
Well, this is the most free intel you'll ever get in
Does
your
that
life.
just get miscommunicated in that situation as to the fact that,
Has been discovered.
I mean, that round's over, right? You leave that default up, the round's over. And you saw it there. Speak easy with a quick jump out, double kill. They got full info. Only one player has to just sit on that default cam. That's a big mistake. And that's going to cost them the entire round. And suddenly Invictus go up 3-2.
Yeah, the round was honestly probably already lost, but that was really the nail in the coffin. You can't be leaving up default cameras, especially one like that, feeding such pivotal information. And again, props to Invictus. They capitalize upon that and are able...
It's still up, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's still up.
Yeah.
And they'll know exactly where Nico is as he drops down. Expect probably another jump out here from IG. And yeah, there we go. Invictus seal the deal.
You know, look, I'll say this as well, right? For Order's defense, these things happen. It's been spoken about a little bit. Of course, that original Nico incident that happened a couple of weeks ago. You know, these things do happen. Even the best of the best do make mistakes, guys, or they might miss the little things like that. That doesn't excuse it. That doesn't make it okay, but it happens, right? And it shouldn't probably be, you know, overblasted too much. Okay, mistake happened. They left up the default. Hopefully, for their sake, they realized that at some point in the round.
Well, on that point, though, that's the concerning thing. Order probably don't know that they made that mistake.
Right.
I don't think they would have gotten the cue there that the intel was being fed. Nico
It's not going to make a
did
difference in
take
this
down
round
the camera.
anyway.
Yeah, and we're likely not going to see that objective again in this matchup. And if we do, I mean, there's a 99.99% chance we'll just take it out because on most occasions it's just routine.
Well, they're going to be on the defense.
Yeah, but if we end up going to OT, yada yada.
Ah,
yada,
right, yes.
and Invictus
Okay.
like that site, but yeah, it's just one of those things that happen. Even the best, like every now and again, forget to take down a default. Not the end of the world, but it is an unfortunate mistake, and it does feel like Order sometimes probably make a few too many of those, and it is those really, really small errors that can cost you. I mean, again, speaking to Specker the other night, he basically said it himself. These games are so incredibly close. Whoever rocks up on the day, whoever's head is in the game is more likely to win, and small mistakes like that add up. Unfortunately for Order, they find themselves now a little bit on the back foot, but Invictus, they still need to win this next round, I feel, to be in a really good position.
Yeah, I would agree with you there. I think this is still a free shot here for Order. We said 2-4. As an attacking half for Order is definitely the pass mark. So it's still a free shot. They're still playing it with a bit of house money here. And they've already shown that their ability to take Church Arsenal has been very effective. That blue control looking over towards Arsenal and into dirt. You'd have to expect, though, guys, that this time, surely Invictus are ready for it and are going to be prepared for that and defend a bit better.
Becca on the sledge. He can get to work up above now, as we saw in the prep phase. And briefly just then, Speak Easy has hidden one of his black eye cameras up above in the kitchen. Now that could prove very useful if IG want to go for nitro cells from down below. Now Luna is the only one that has one ready and waiting. I'm sure Speak Easy, if he jumps on the... Oh no, Speak Easy actually running impacts. So there we go. Spicy addition there. I can only assume that Speak Easy is going to try and impact trick that hatch, at least delay it. Now we saw last time Jack Daddy was able to pepper out those X-Pyros a couple at a time, and impact tricking that is near impossible. I mean, Speak Easy pulls it off 2 times, but Jack Daddy with plenty of ammo left in the launcher, able to finish the job. And the ultimate point to that is that Order only need to worry about 1 nitro from below.
Minute and a half remaining in the final round of this first half for what is our final game of the day here for APAC South. And a big game between these two teams. Oh, nice shot from Bailey. He's done it again, Guz. The absolute freedom. You thought Invictus would sort of learn from this, but again, not much pressure at all applied over towards blue.
Yep. Time and time again, Invictus, that weakness is being exploited. And there we go, Nate, a clean shot with 5.56 to find 1. And now they can activate. Once again, blue control will be taken, and they're just falling apart.
Yeah, and that's probably the round, unless Joe goes big once again. Has gone a little quiet since that original ace. Joe gets the flush as well and gets the second one too. Hysterics dies and Joe maybe he's almost doing it again. For a split second, guys, I definitely thought that it would happen once again. The way they started the half, he would end it, but no. This time, Order win out the round. They deny that hero play from Joe. And it's a 3-3 half from what was their attacking half on Clubhouse. They look good, and they're keeping their playoff hopes alive.
I'd say that was a pretty successful half there for Order. They can be quite happy with that result. They'll probably still be a little bit upset that Joe was able to clutch up that previous round, right? If they were 4-2 up, well, been a fantastic position. But a 3-3 is a really solid result. Again, considering that heading into this matchup, Invictus should be favourites. I mean, I know I picked Order, but deep down, Invictus are probably the strongest team in this matchup, and they prove that in the current standings, albeit quite close. So Order, I feel, have done a really good job in this half. They've set themselves up with a nice foundation. Now, it's not a rock-solid foundation. It could be shaken up here a little bit here by Invictus, but it's a good starting point for them. They'll be happy with that. And I do feel like this match should lean more into defense with the bans and sort of play style we have seen so far. I guess Order will have to prove whether they can follow that up. Now, on this particular objective, one thing that we kept talking about for the Invictus defenses was their inability to hold blue generator, and that seemed to be where Order were able to find a lot of control and find a lot of picks, particularly late round. So I'm excited to see what Order bring to try and counter that. Now, with that mirror window there, that makes things quite tricky. There's ADS devices as well, fortifying that position. So based on what we're seeing at the moment, it looks like Order are ready to try and really hold down that part of the map.
Cover me! Reloading!
And it calls for Invictus. If they do let this game fall by the wayside, they can say goodbye to any chance of that top spot. They will still have top 4 to play for, though. But it will be very, very difficult to, of course, establish that sort of position against Elevate in Playday 7. So there's an opportunity here that if Invictus lose this, guys, then lose to Elevate, they will not make the playoffs for the second stage in a row.
Oh, Spectre. Oh, just skates away there from Joe.
Perfect.
Turns around and finds the pick. That is confidence there from Spectre. 8-3-2 so far. You don't go for that if you're not feeling confident. And that is a great start for Order, and Spectre quite pleased with that result.
Crazy, crazy play from Specker, but that's what you need to do if you're going to be beating teams like Invictus. Catch them off guard like that. Make those sort of plays where they think you're running. Instead, you are just repositioning and then eventually firing back. Bailey just being a bit of a pest there, of course, with the Moto hatch. Don't think it's going to make too much of an issue, though, for Invictus eventually getting their attention now towards that kitchen hatch. But down a player, and especially when attacking basement 4 versus 5, it's not going to be easy for Invictus.
Now, of course, Jordan is playing the Kali in this round, and those Lances could make it a little bit more difficult for Bailey, but he times the first one perfectly. Those X-Kairos dealt with, and now Hysterics only has 10 left. Now, I say only, 10 still a lot, and you only need 4 to pop open a hatch, but...
The time, though.
Yeah, he needs to be careful. Time as well. Mounting here against Invictus. Nate as well, with a strong position on the church wall. Those mirror windows will prove to be quite a threat here to the attack. Now, it is dealt with by Hysterics, but that's the last of his X-Kairos, and Bailey perfectly clears them off the wall. No, it was imperfect. In fact, that mirror will be popped open. Unfortunately, he is unable to find them all, and now Invictus can start to mount an attack, but they are at the man disadvantage.
Yeah, and they don't have these hatches opened either. They're just going to be lammed to the slaughter. Nico finds 2 very quickly. That's the round over. I mean, it was never going to be a possibility for Invictus. I mean, yeah, eventually got this kitchen hatch open, but they had no motor control. They were all coming in through mains. That was flawless from Order, but a little bit bewildering from Invictus. Just a bit of a poor attack, if I'm going to be completely honest. And for Order, a really solid defense. They got that opening pick, played off of that, right? If you've got that 5 versus 4 advantage, guys, there's no reason to really look for more. You've done your job. You've got that pick. Fall back onto site and have that advantage. And they did that perfectly. And honestly, Bailey as well with those, you know, those Kaid claws made it very difficult to open up that moto hatch.
Yeah, props to Order. They played that objective really, really well. They knew that kitchen hatch was likely going to be open. They didn't waste too much time or resources trying to prevent it from being opened. Inevitably, it is going to get opened. Instead, the likes of the mirror being on the board made things tough down bottom main. They also couldn't really push blue. Second mirror position there by, I believe it was Nico playing in the previous round or whoever it was. And then Bailey, as you mentioned, under Moto Hatch, denying more time, more resources, more utility from Invictus. So as much as that was, in some respects, a bit of a falter there from Invictus, and they couldn't really get anything going, and as you said, it was sort of lambs to the slaughter at the end of the day because it had no real backup plan. It was also really, really well executed there by Order, and that was the sort of textbook defense I was expecting to see there with these bands on the board, and Order just playing into it really, really well. And that's a strong, confident start to their defensive half.
Yeah, and they've clearly got the momentum, and the reminder here is that Invictus don't have a tactical timeout. At no point now they can turn around and take that timeout to wrestle back momentum. It's it, right? They've used it. They used it at 2-2 to try and have that 2-4 defensive half. Didn't end up getting it. Automated 3-3. And now Order are definitely on the front foot. And a win here puts them up onto 8 points, puts them into 5th. I don't think they've got the head-to-head against the Chiefs.
Ah, they do.
They do? No way! They will go from 8th to 4th. Last into a playoff position if they can complete the win here against Invictus.
That would be quite the leapfrog. And I mean, from what we're seeing so far, honestly, I am feeling really confident for Order. Now, that might be my O's bias showing, and I'm not being fair enough to Invictus. And yeah, call me out. That's probably fair. We haven't quite seen what Invictus can show here on some of these other objectives. So far, Order not really playing like a bottom team at the moment.
No.
It's scary for Invictus. They were probably heading into this matchup feeling really confident and going, you know what, lads, we're still a chance for first. Order probably won't be the most difficult opponent. Let's get them dealt with. But it's simply not been the case. And I mean, if Nico's roaming on mirror, then yeah, Order are feeling themselves.
They are definitely feeling themselves. This is when they're up and about. Their mental switched on. They feel confident. They're finding the picks. They're the aggressors. They're the ones that are making things happen, and they're putting the pressure onto Invictus. They are on the defense, and yeah, it feels like they're on the offense with the way that they're positioning, they're playing. Minute and 15 seconds, and I don't think Invictus really have much from this round to show for it, guys. This is just all Order once again.
No flank watch as well here, or dedicated flank watch in terms of utility here for Invictus, and that may allow Nico to go for a big flank late. He is expecting a player maybe to sweep Garage again to make sure, but Invictus have rotated elsewhere. Player inside of Cash, that's Hysterics with a foothold. Luna and Speak Easy over towards the southern balcony, maybe trying to find a pick on site, but Order backs against the wall inside of Logistics. Now I say backs against the wall, but not really with a negative connotation. They look quite strong, quite confident, but Hysterics catches Nate off guard.
Yeah, and quite ironically, they're in his back, right? So,
Oh,
that was beautiful from Nico, though. He gets that diffuser down outside as well, and he might almost get a second kill there into the player inside of Con. Hysterics is dead. That's Jack Daddy with the pick. The Carly's still outside, but for how much longer? And Jordan also taking quite a bit of damage. In fact, he's actually inside. Speak Easy has diffuser, but it's a 3 versus 2. Nico is getting so aggressive here. Might just go all the way over towards that gym bedroom window. Nitrocell thrown out from Jack Dad. Is it perfectly placed? Specker, though, with a perfect headshot to Speak Easy. Order making this look easy right now on the defense, and they take a 2-round lead over Invictus Gaming.
What a round there from Order, toying with their prey, and eventually Nico had his impact in that round. He was so patient. It would have been so easy for him to go early and get caught off guard there from Invictus, but he knew that the moment that clock started to apply even an ounce of pressure, that their concentration was going to be fully on towards the objective. He seized upon that opportunity to get that pick outside of the balcony. That delayed the plant from eventually going down, and it delayed it so much that Order were able to recuperate themselves, deny the plant there off the back of Specker's headshot, and the round was all but done from there. Another really strong round there from Order, but big but that has summoned the Montang here for Invictus, and we know Luna on the Montang is very scary. Very, very scary. Invictus are not messing around.
And this is, of course, season on the line for Invictus. Or stage on the line, right? Like, playoffs on the line. Everything's on the line here. No tactical timeout to halt that momentum of order. They need to do it in the game itself. And they are going to go to the Montang full Luna as well to try and get back some momentum.
Wait, hold up. Can we please look back at Garage, Mandy?
Attackers must locate
Okay.
and defuse the bomb.
This is very interesting. So Order have used all of their reinforcements, yet Garage is completely soft, and they've created lines of sight. Instead, they've used 2 reinforcements over towards the launch wall to try and fortify that position. They've also double reinforced off rafters. Now, I can only assume that Invictus are anticipating, that Order rather are anticipating the Montang? That might be why they've done this. It might just be a genuine pocket strat that they're willing to use regardless. But either way, it's not often, it's not every day that you see innovation here on Clubhouse. So I am very keen to see if this works.
And the way that Order have been playing, now's the time to do these aggressive things. Nico got that opening pick onto Joe. Sophia's taken down, but he did get traded for it. Job's done, though. Makes it a 4 versus 4. Makes things just that little bit more difficult for Invictus without Joe alive on the Sophia.
Oh, Nico, you are... I don't think I can use words on stream that are appropriate to describe just how good of a player you are, my man. That is just absolutely insane. Now, yeah, he did get traded out, but it is a big pick and a very spicy angle at that. This round really is going to be a test on how Invictus can change up their style. This is likely a defensive setup they have not faced before. And there we go. Nate gets the first, aggressors onto Hysterics. And now they only have 2 guns left. Keeping in mind, Luna is playing that Montang. He's going to be under the pump. 2 players getting lit up here from Invictus. This round has really not gone their way. Order are throwing their opponents off guard.
Speakeasy, though, is still alive. He's still in the lobby. 9-6-3. Has been, so far, the best player in APAC South for Stage 2 when it goes into the ratings system. And it's a 3 versus 3. And they've still got a minute on the clock here. This is not over by any means, but 2 Nitrocells available for Jack Daddy and for Bailey. And Nate has been fragging out, as he usually does. And if it comes down to those final, 20 seconds, that sort of red time play, you kind of back in Order.
I really want this setup to work. This is very, very spicy, and it does seem to be throwing Invictus off guard, but it is a 3 versus 3, and the attack has done a decent job in salvaging what was a pretty dire position early round. Now Nate gets aggressive, and there we go, gets the kill onto Rafters. The diffuser is dropped, and the hard breach denied. Speakeasy not traded back. Bailey can aggress in towards Garage. He has a Nitro cell that he can use from down below. But Jordan is putting up a fight, trying to get that diffuser back. But there we go, the Nitro cell onto Jordan. Leaves Luna in the 1v1. It's potentially winnable. Can he find the shot? No. Bailey wins it out with the AUG. It was close. But the setup works out for Order.
What is that shit? Oh, what a calamity of a round. Order, match point versus Invictus. It is basically playoff point as well. To keep their playoff hopes alive, to put them into 4th place, to put Invictus in 6th, and with no opportunity of a 1st place finish. They are in shambles, guys. Since that tactical timeout, it has been a 4-1 advantage to Order.
Jeez. Crazy. And the big result out of that matchup is Invictus cannot get 3 points. Now, I don't know the implications of that necessarily affecting their chances finishing first. I don't have the brain capacity to run those numbers on the fly, but I can't help but feel that that severely compromises their run, even if they're able to bring this back in overtime. This has been a devastating result for Invictus, but I mean, what a performance from Order. That it's been really well played by them. Honestly, this is a really great performance from Order. They're bringing out new strats. They're playing confident. they're willing to go for plays, and it's working out.
5 seconds left.
Should mention as well that our lovely co-casters have been having a look at the numbers, of course. If Order complete this match point and win this game, they get all 3 points, and it will mean that there's a bit of a mini-league around that 4th place position, as Order, Chiefs, and Invictus will all be on 8 points. But based on the head-to-heads and the round differentials in that mini-league, Order do still come out on top, so they would still be in that 4th place position. And if I'm reading it correctly, it should be then Chiefs in 5th and Invictus in 6th. Crazy, with 1 play day to go next week as well.
Next week is going to test the heart rate, that's for sure. Test our heart rates, never mind the players inside the server still fighting it out and jostling for playoff positions, and of course still fighting for that first place auto qual to the major. A lot on the line here in APAC South, and as close as it ever has been. Now in terms of this round, however, Order defending down below, the setup looking quite similar to what we saw previously, a lot being hedged on Bailey doing his job on the Moto hatch with the Electro Claws, as well as Nate pre-placing those mirrors. I do like the counterplay here though, from Gordon on the Ying. That could really help Invictus be a little bit more explosive in the late round and try to negate some of that setup established by Order.
Yeah, and I've just looked as well, and I don't know how this has sort of gone past us, guys, but if Invictus do lose this, they will be 1-4 in the last 5 weeks. And it just really undoes a lot of the good work that they, well, I guess did early on in this stage to maybe rectify things from what was, of course, a very disappointing stage 1. But as this stage has just continued on each week after week, it actually has just been getting worse and worse for Invictus Gaming. So much so they're in the bottom 3 if they lose this. 1 minute left in the round, 5 versus 5. So an opportunity for Invictus to at least play with all 5 of their players still intact, and see if they can maybe prolong this just a little bit longer.
Bailey again doing a great job juggling that hatch. Now Historic's in there's 6 ex-Kairos to work with. Again, this round looking rough for Invictus, and as you mentioned, maybe this stage 2 bounce back not really going to play out. This is a huge stage for Invictus. If they want to make the next 6 Invitational, they really need to start posting points on the board, because stage 1 was absolutely horrible for them. They need this lifeline. They need some points in this matchup to try and elevate themselves in the standings. But honestly, with 20 seconds to go, Order are in a fantastic position to close this out.
We're heading into that red time as well. Joe's taken off the board immediately. It's a 1-for-1 trade. 4 versus 4. Nico's low, but it's Nate, it's Becca, it's Jack Daddy. It is Order getting it done when it matters the most. In red time, in the clutch. And Speakeasy, he's not on that gun anymore. He has to stick to the diffuser. He's eliminated by Jack Daddy. Nothing that Luna can do. Order have made it into the top 4 with now 1 playdate to go. They have shattered the hopes and dreams of Invictus Gaming, who dwindled down into the bottom 3. Stage 1 was not very good. Stage 2 is looking about the same for IG, and for Order, all things are looking up.
A 7-3, that is clean and concise from Order. They are not worthy of finishing bottom in APAC South this stage based on that result.